Hi, everyone. It's Rebecca Imholz with the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to today's Mondays with the Mayor. It's great to see everyone. I hope you had a very wonderful weekend. It was a little warm, so hopefully you got to get outside early in the mornings and enjoy some very hot but summer weather. How about you, Shane? Did you have a good weekend?
Well, I'll tell you, Rebecca, I don't know where you were, but it was not warm. It was just plain hot. We thought about going to the beach on Sunday, but we said, you know what? Why don't we just hang out at the house? And actually, funny story, we talked about going to the beach all week, and then it was so hot that we stayed at home, and we on a big screen TV, we put up the beach, and we sat on the couch, and we enjoyed the beach from the comfort of our own home on the couch. So
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
The surround sound and the big screen, it's like you're there anyway, so no sand, no heat, you know. So we just decided to do it that way. But no, the weekend was good, very hot, and I'm hopeful that you're well, and we appreciate everything that you did and help us with on Monday with the Mayor. At this time, I will welcome on the Honorable Will Haynie and also Lauren Sims. Good afternoon.
Here we are.
Hello.
There they are. Good to see you two. Again, thank you very much for your time. I'm hoping that both of you had a good weekend. Mr. Mayor, I'll start with you. Do you have any big plans?
No, my daughter's in town. My Corona bride daughter and her new puppy. So we had a house full and a puppy jumping all over us, and we love it. It was great. Didn't do much outside, though. It was way too hot.
And you and I ate at the same place. So we had a ribbon cutting on Friday over at Mig's Pizza over off Highway 41. And the pizza was so good at the ribbon cutting that I went back on Saturday and got an extra large pizza. And then I understand, Mr. Mayor, that you were there.
Suzette, Suzette taught their daughter, Jenny Moore. And so we had a connection, and we were looking for something to do. So so we went back. How's that frosé, by the way? Is that good?
This is tea. It's just tea. I promise. My wife makes a nice tea. So yeah, we're keeping it legit here.
Juice. That's just a catch-all. You're having Zoom juice.
It's Zoom juice, right? Exactly.
Zoom juice.
Well, Mr. Mayor, it was great to see you Friday at Mig's. We had a ribbon cutting, the first one we've done in about 3 months, so that was great to be able to do that. We were wearing our masks and we were social distancing, and it was a great opportunity to get out and support a local Mount Pleasant business. Lauren, I'll ask you, how about you? Your weekend, a lot of big plans?
Nothing major planned. We just kind of hunkered around the house and got some projects done here, which is always good to do. But that beach study you were talking about sounds pretty sweet, so I might have to suggest that for this weekend. To watch a toddler in the living room beach as opposed to at the actual beach when we're trying to eat sand and chill, who knows what else. So we might have to try that one this weekend.
Yeah, it worked out great for us on the couch. Air conditioning was on. We had the big screen and the sound. That's all we really need. So yeah, it worked out well. So well, let's get right to it. I wanted to start, Mr. Mayor, with what you're seeing as far as the trends in the COVID numbers and what's that looking like, and what maybe we can expect moving forward, as best you can explain it.
I've got today from our emergency coordinator, Amanda Knight. Matter of fact, she's sending me some updated things as we speak. So she'll give me the 2-week rolling average, because remember, they changed how they give the numbers. So the overall cumulative for the 429 zip code, that's upper Mount Pleasant into Allendale. That's 10-mile areas, 81 cases. 29464 is 1,364 cases. And 29466 is 634 cases. The good news is, and I'm waiting on that's from the start. That's from case 1. I'm waiting right now on the 2-week rolling. Oh, here it is. 2-week rolling, what we have right now is 8 in 429, 239 active cases in 464, and 97 active cases in 466. So things are getting better. We have sustained a reduction in cases for 2 weeks, which is good. I am not a doctor. I'm not an epidemiologist, and I don't play one on social media. But the only thing they can figure that has changed, one is people are wearing masks more, and two is when the numbers were spiking in July and everybody was getting that report, people started taking it seriously and eliminating trips out that they didn't have to take, and eliminating some socializing. I talked to somebody in the restaurant business. They said June was gangbusters. And as the numbers spiked, July numbers started going down. I know that hotel occupancy started going down in July. So I'll just say a couple of things. Mask ordinances did not really affect that. Mask ordinances don't affect hotel occupancies. I think this was the mindset of the people that, whoa, you know, these numbers are spiking. We might not want to go take that trip right now. So I just want to come back. I've been saying this for months. Doing this and doing the one region ready thing is that our goal is to have the numbers look good, not to be just warriors against fighting a virus, which we need to be, but we need to do this for our economy. We need to wear that mask, you know, where you're not required. It is working. The medical university told us that after mask ordinances went in place, give it 2 weeks or more and the numbers would drop. Well, the numbers are dropping. Nobody, I'm not saying that is the only reason, but at least for a combination of reasons, and it's certainly not hurting.
Well, you and I spoke before our call today here, and you had an interesting story from your barber. I'd love for you to share that with our members and folks that are on this call, because it was rather interesting.
Sure. Like a lot of men in town, I go to Jeff's Barbering, which is up in Seaside. Jeff's been my barber for 10 years. And I don't barber cheat. Only my wife has cut my hair, other than Jeff. And it's a 7-chair shop right now, I think. And it's, you know, it's a men's haircut place. It's an old-fashioned men's haircut place where you get the hot lather and the straight razor on the back of your neck. And Jeff has been very careful to put plastic up around every booth. They wear the mask, they wear the gloves, and you know, you're not all sitting in there. You're either sitting outside or you're coming into an appointment. So for the first time in 3 months, I went in the barbershop last Friday, and my wife has been trimming my hair, which is why I look so good for 3 months. You could feel the love in that haircut. So anyway, I was sitting there, and you know, when you're a politician, when you're in elected office, barbershops are the bellwether. If you don't listen to what you hear at the barbershop, you're not going to stay in elected office very long. So I was sitting there and I was listening to Jeff, and he said, I want to tell you something. And I thought, well, here it comes, right? Because we had the mask ordinance in effect for, about a month then. He said the day after the Mount Pleasant mask ordinance went into effect, even though it did not mandate it in barbershops, their business doubled in one day, doubled from what it had been. There was a big spike in June when they were allowed to reopen, and then through July it got lower and lower, and it got to the point where some of the barbers were thinking, you know, we're not even making gas money. The day after, I guess July 2nd, it started, and it has gone up ever since. And I said, well, why is that? And Jeff said he asked everybody, and they said, well, once people got serious and the government said, we're going to get strict about masks, and you need to wear a mask, and it's important, people felt like there was a safety factor. It did not affect barbershops, but the perception was it's safer to go out. So coming from a trusted barber and from the guy's barbershop where there's lots of BS and lots of chatter going on, I take it that that's pretty good street wisdom. And he said, yeah, there's some folks that don't like masks and didn't like it, and we're not going to fight. Well, I keep saying, we're not each other's enemies. The virus is our enemy. But it was good to hear that just the perception that it's safer to go out helped a local business double their business in one day. And that was the effect all along, whether the folks watching agree or disagree with my stance or others on this. The point was to get businesses open and stay open. So that was just a vignette I wanted to share, and I was glad that my barber shared it with me.
Well, I think too, it goes back to restaurants as well. I know I've gone into a couple of restaurants, none in Mount Pleasant, but some have been outside of Mount P. And then the story I told about the upstate where you walk in and everybody's acting like nothing is going on, I have turned around and left. So just the sheer fact that you have the masks and you're doing the things that you're supposed to do from a safety standpoint gives that consumer more confidence to then come to your establishment. I can tell you right now, the places I've gone and I've left, I'm not going to go back anytime soon because they're probably not adhering to the safety guidelines.
Right. I agree. I've said this in the one region meetings. I think I've said this here. Safety is a brand now. And it's like putting your customers' needs and your customers' concerns first. And so I think that is on the upswing in Mount Pleasant. We have seen some of the major chains, the big box stores, say you got to wear a mask in here now. They don't do that lightly, and they look at national trends and perceptions and polls. And I think it has caught on that it doesn't really do any harm to wear a mask. I'm not a scientist, but the numbers are better since the mask ordinances, and I hear and see a lot of trustworthy business and medical professionals saying, wear the mask for the 20 minutes that you shop. Just do that.
I actually saw my first face shield in a Mount Pleasant establishment. A gentleman was coming out. It was a grocery store in Mount Pleasant. He was coming out, had a face shield on, the blue thing around his head, and that was what he felt the most comfortable being in. So I think we're to the point now where most people are like, whatever's going to protect me, no matter how silly it looks or how uncomfortable I am. Because trust me, I get my face starts to itch and my beard, it drives me nuts. But I just know it's the right thing to do at this time, and all of us working together will help us eventually get through this situation. So.
And we're all building up our mask wardrobe. We have our formal mask, we have our casual mask, and we have the run in the convenience store mask, and it's part of our wardrobe now. So.
Absolutely. Well, Mr. Mayor, thank you for communicating that. It sounds like things are moving in the right direction, and we hope that trend continues. Let's talk a little bit about Highway 41. I understand that there will be a county announcement about Highway 41 this week. Is that right?
Yes. They are going to give the press it came down to two alternatives, and the county has to pick one and submit that as the preferred alternative, although both alternatives go to the Corps of Engineers and to the EPA, who have the final say on this. County council will vote on this. They're going to ask the town to affirm what they vote on as their preferred alternative, and we will all see what that is when it's announced. I believe they're going to give it to the media on Wednesday, and it's embargoed until midnight, so it would be Thursday that the news comes out. That's cute. It would be Thursday when the news comes out of what the preferred alternative is. And here's one thing I want to say. It's not just Highway 41. It's the whole area up there. It's the intersection of 41 and 17. It's the intersection of Porche's Bluff and Gregory Ferry and Winnowing Way and all of that up there. It's the old 41, spur that you take to come around where we did the ribbon cutting Friday. And it's the entrance, it's Brickyard and Hamlin as well. So when we say 41, it's not just 41. It's that whole complex up there. So this is vital for quality of life, travel time. We know most people that live up there do not work up there. That's a given. Your travel time, the amount of time you spend in a car, and the amount of property that will be affected by this by increased rights of way. The preliminary information that I have is that no businesses will be displaced by this, which is pretty phenomenal when you think about it. We'll have to see the details, but no businesses will be displaced by this. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not a spokesman for the county, but I'm pretty sure that no individual residences, no matter which one they announce, nobody's home is going to be completely taken by any of this. So, if they've managed to accomplish that, that'll be a pretty interesting accomplishment. And the whole budget is, correct me, 140 million. And that's a lot of money, but it's not that much when you consider that it was 80 or 90 million to widen Johnny Dodd's. What was that, 10 years ago? I think it was 3 years that we had all the orange cones out there, and we made them the official tree of the town of Mount Pleasant.
And much like we did with Johnny Dodd's, we can make some sort of a marketing campaign out of the 41 project, because the
construction land.
You guys did a great job as far as making that making something that could be deemed a hassle into a great marketing campaign. And obviously, it was a great move to do that and widen that moving forward. So maybe that's in the cards as well. And then I also wanted to touch base on that Shim Creek economic impact study. I understand you got the details back from that and some very interesting findings in that, right, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, I think everybody knows that the Corps of Engineers, with their only authorized cost share partner being South Carolina Department of Natural Resources, as part of the harbor deepening, what's called the Post 45 project, is going to restore Crab Bank at the mouth of Shim Creek. The goal of that is to make it a pelican rookery. And part of this process I learned, I'm always looking for a learning moment for myself. There is a pelican rookery index that grades certain things. That's like a scoring system for a pelican rookery. Who knew? All right, it's a great country. The concern that the town has is that the amount that they are going to be taking out of the shipping channel and dumping off Mount Pleasant, off the old village at the mouth of Shim Creek, is the equivalent of 50 acres of land. I can understand that better than I can 886,000 cubic yards. I don't know what 886,000 cubic yards looks like, but I know what 50 acres looks like. So we were so concerned about this that 2 years ago, right after I became mayor, I think spring of 18, we voted, we spent $100,000 to have our own ocean study done. Bathology or whatever it is, the big word. The ocean engineers who look at the currents, look at the sand, they looked at the pictures. Does everybody know that Crab Bank is not natural? That is a man-made. When they dredged the harbor in 1955 to cut that channel, the ships used to come in, turn left by Fort Sumter, go down by James Island, come in from the Ashley River. It's only since the late 1950s have they come by Mount Pleasant and Patriots Point and come under the bridge that way. They just dump that in Mount Pleasant. They can't find records of that. They don't know how much they dumped, but there are aerial photos. And this is what our town engineers found out when the ones we hired, ATM, a Mount Pleasant firm on Houston Northcote, right across the street from us. Where they dumped it was much farther away from Shim Creek than where we all know Crab Bank is now. And over half a century, it has moved steadily towards the mouth of Shim Creek. When they do a time lapse of the aerial photos, you see the march of the sand towards Shim Creek. So what does that mean? What that means is this same study that our taxpayers paid for said that if the Corps of Engineers insist on putting this in one place instead of farther away, all inside what we call a NEPA box. The National Environmental Protection Act says, here's the box, and it's a long rectangle. It has to go in there. And so what we're saying is if you'll put it at one end of that box instead of the other, the life of Shim Creek will be much longer, because our study says if they put it on the end of the box they have been inclined to put it on, that it will double the sedimentation rate of Shim Creek, and in just a few years shrimp boats will not be able to get in and out, and probably most recreational boats, all except the smallest kayaks. So this brings me back, I'm sorry for the long-winded answer, but this is a very complex and serious situation. We're going to get an economic impact study, because we're the council that has been put on notice that if this happens and y'all don't stand up hard enough for Mount Pleasant, this could be the devastating economic impact to our businesses on Shim Creek. So we're going to pay some amount of money. It won't be what the ocean engineering study was, but it'll tell us what would happen if that were the case on Shim Creek. And we're thinking it's in the hundreds, of millions of dollars, not to mention the decline in real property values and real property tax. We're just talking about sales income and sales tax and all of that stuff. So you'll see us voting on that Tuesday night, and the plan is to try to have most of that study brought back to council at our September meeting. When is this planned for? They're planning to restore Crab Bank sometime in 2021, because the dredge equipment that they're going to use for that is being used on the Savannah River right now. They're going to bring it up in 2021. So we've got 6 to 9 months, but we're gonna press hard on this.
I just cannot imagine no shrimp boats and no personal boats in Shim Creek. I just don't see how that could happen.
I know. And I don't think, I'm not knocking on the kayak business at all. They want to see that rookery very badly. We would love to see a viable rookery. But if it gets to where the only people that can use Shim Creek are kayaks for tours to watch pelicans hatch, that's not in anybody's best interest. And I'm not saying they're advocating that, but we can't imagine a Shim Creek that only kayaks can get in and out of, if that.
Yes, sir, and we will certainly be keeping an eye on that. And Mr. Mayor, you mentioned the council meeting tomorrow. I wanted to bring Lauren in as well, because that's going to continue the comp plan tomorrow. The public has an opportunity to voice whatever concerns or questions that they have, either in person. You can also watch on YouTube. So Lauren, talk a little bit about the meeting tomorrow and what folks can expect as part of the comp plan.
Yeah, absolutely. So tomorrow is our regularly scheduled town council meeting for the month of August. And so one of the important items is the public hearing that's required by law in order to approve the comprehensive plan. So in case you haven't heard me about it, the comprehensive plan is a 10-year guiding document for the town. It kind of sets the tone of who do we want to be for the next 10 years, and it covers a multitude of different characteristics, impact, and economic vibrancy is a big component of that. And so we just want to make sure that the public is continuing to be involved in that process. You probably recall that there was a comprehensive planning forum a couple of years ago now, that had about 36 individuals from around the community. So they put it together, they put together a draft, and then presented that to council, and now council has been working on it. We started working on it before COVID hit, and then just had a special town council meeting to with it, make some tweaks and things based on what they were hearing. This is, again, the required public hearing. So a chance for the public to come in and voice their input. The draft of the comp plan is available on our website. So I encourage everyone to go and take a look there. And so the public hearing will be at the very beginning of the meeting. And then later on in the agenda, council, should they choose to, it is on the agenda for first reading. So it would be first reading this month, should council vote to approve it. And then would move forward for second reading next month, and then hopefully adoption. We are required by law to have one, and so it's a very important document. But one other thing on the council agenda tomorrow that I did want to bring up as it relates to businesses are some possible changes as it relates to our sign ordinance. It's been a few years since we've updated the sign ordinance, and folks have gotten rather creative in what they use for signage. And so going through and updating the sign ordinance to include some of these new methods of signage, and also some additional information as it relates to temporary signage. So definitely want to encourage our businesses to check that out and make sure that they are paying attention to that, especially if they are planning to use temporary signs in the near future.
Lauren, I also wanted to ask, I've been watching the town meetings on YouTube, but I have not physically gone to town hall and sit in on a council meeting since COVID. And Mr. Mayor, you can obviously answer this question as well. Can you talk a little bit about, for folks that may be watching that may have not gone to a meeting and are thinking about going, what are the precautions being done in town hall in regards to town council? What can folks expect if they do want to come out tomorrow night?
Sure, they're very extensive. When you come in, you go through the metal detectors like you're at an airport, and we ask everybody after they touch the door, you see this huge hand sanitizer dispenser to please immediately sanitize your hands before you start touching stuff and put it in the box that goes through, through the x-ray machine. Got to wear a mask, so when you come in, everybody is social distance. We do not have people sitting next to people, and we don't have people sitting directly behind people either. So that's one thing that's nice about our big, I think the capacity in there is 240 something people, and so we can spread everybody out. You won't have anybody right behind you. If you choose to speak, you come up to the lectern. You can take the mask off because you're socially distanced from people. After every speaker, the lectern and the microphone are decontaminated, which sounds terrible, sanitized. You contaminated the public.
Decontamination process.
Yeah, we have a sanitation process that our employees do, so we take every precaution on that. We all wear our mask in, we wear our mask out. A lot of times when we're talking, we're socially distanced behind the dais as well. We take our mask off because some people, people watching on YouTube or whatever, need to clearly see what we're saying, and then we put our mask back on. So we take every single precaution. Stairways, there's one way up, one way down. There's only one way out the door, and your distance from the other side. So I guess nothing is foolproof, but ours, we have experts in this that work for the town who have told us how to do this, and they've checked off on all of that. So I think Lauren would agree it's probably as safe as any public process can be for something like that. That's a good question, Shane. I'm glad you brought that up.
Absolutely. I feel very safe in town hall.
Excellent. Well, that's good information to know for folks that have not gone to a meeting and may be thinking about going. It's great. Obviously, the town is leading by example and putting those precautions in place. That's all I have on the agenda today. I do understand we have one question, and at this time, I'll bring on Rebecca. And Rebecca, fire away.
Hi. So we had two questions that came through via the email opportunity that we provide everyone every week. And one of them had to do with the Mass Ordinance, and Mayor and Shane, you did a great job of talking about why we have a Mass Ordinance for everyone, not just those who are at risk of getting COVID-19. But my takeaway was for safety and to build up consumer confidence. So I believe that question was answered very well today. And certainly if anybody has further questions about that, email me, Rebecca@MountPleasantChamber.org. We'll get it to you, Mayor and Lauren. The other one had to do with the lack of free parking right now at the Isle of Palms. Mayor, the question is, are you having any further conversations with county officials or state officials? I know you talked about it on a previous Mondays with the Mayor. So any update on that?
Yes. Matter of fact, I had a face-to-face with the chairman of County Council on Thursday. We discussed this, and today I was with Senator Larry Grooms, who represents most of the 41 area and the Long Point Road area, and was with him and with Councilman Herb Sass, who represents Mount Pleasant. The first thing that I want to tell everybody is everybody that at the county and the state level agrees that the worst approach right now would be for us as the 90,000 population municipality adjacent to the Isle of Palms, is for us to start pounding our chest and pounding our podium and telling their council exactly what they're going to do. That does not work in municipal politics. What does work is for us to go to the county and us to go to the state and remind them that our 90,000 people are their people as well, for the county and for the state. And that we all know, this is not an opinion, they own the state roads and they own the beaches. Caught in the middle of that, and I can identify as a municipality, and we're not just talking about the Isle of Palms, let's talk about all of them, are the municipalities that have to provide police and fire and parking and drainage and all of those things. So we are not at all unsympathetic to the Isle of Palms having, if you look at the numbers, the increase in numbers compared to their populations, it's almost like them every weekend during the heavy season having the equivalent of a bridge run for Mount Pleasant. If you just look at the percentage of people coming into their area, and we get that. And so my conversations with the county and my council and I have been in contact about this, and right now everybody agrees that this is the way to go. We want the county and the state to address both. The interest of all the people to have reasonable access to parking, and I can't sit here and say that that means all the parking is absolutely free, but it's got to be reasonable. It's got to be available, and it's got to be at a reasonable price if there is a charge. I mean, free is always good. But the other thing is that the county, I've been telling the county and the state, is we understand if the local municipalities say, well, we need help with policing this during the season, say Memorial Day to Labor Day. We need help because these are Mount Pleasant people and Berkeley County people and Charleston people and all coming out to the beaches. If I were the mayor of one of the islands, I would be saying we need help as well. That does not mean we're sending Mount Pleasant police out there. We've been asked that before. We don't want to send our police to another municipality to police our people. But if there's a way through the county and state that whatever capacity they need to make this work, to keep those beaches attainable and available under reasonable circumstances for all of our citizens, Mount Pleasant and all the rest of South Carolina, I think we can get there in a positive way. I would like to see them. They've got a meeting on the 13th. What's that, Thursday? The Isle of Palms does. I would like to see them let the current pretty far-reaching parking restrictions expire and work on something. And I understand that it's wrapped in a COVID concern, but we think there's a way that parking can be made available with proper COVID precautions. And what I'm talking about is same thing we do at Town Hall. You have one beach access that's for getting on the beach and another that's for getting off the beach, and it's clearly marked. That way people aren't rubbing elbows and all that kind of stuff. There are ways to do it. So we're standing up for the people of Mount Pleasant. I've been having conversations about this. I just made a public statement yesterday because I was asked to by the organizers of the petition that they wanted to put that out today because we felt the best thing to do is work with those who do have jurisdiction, and that's the county and the state, and not turn this into a big Facebook argument.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that. Rebecca, any other questions?
That's it. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you all.
All right, great. Well, thank you both for taking time again today for Monday with the Mayor. A reminder to our folks that are watching, we're doing, Rebecca, what do we got coming up? We got so much stuff happening. You have a better idea of the schedule than I do. We have an after hours this Wednesday. Is that correct?
So we have two very important webinars this week. Tomorrow, in addition to Mondays with the Mayor, tomorrow is the Pivot, and we're going to be talking about our 2020 Expo going virtual. So we're going to be talking with the Expo Committee about that, our Mount Pleasant Chamber Marketing Chair. We're going to have a little demo. So that's tomorrow at 3:30, the Pivot, and how the Expo is now pivoting to becoming a virtual one. So that's a big pivot for us. I'm looking forward to that. And then on Wednesday, our after hours at 4:30 is with the South Carolina Chamber. As part of their grassroots tour, you have an opportunity to ask them questions, provide input into the 2021 legislative session. So they go back with your concerns, your issues as business owners, and they take that back with them to Columbia. And it's a great opportunity for us to provide input to the State House. So that's the after hours this Wednesday with the South Carolina Chamber.
Excellent. So yeah, lots of great stuff happening this week. If you're not a part of the expo, I urge you to purchase a booth. It's going to be interesting in this environment of folks canceling events and just not doing them. We've decided as the Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce that as we continue to provide good content to our members, that we felt like a virtual expo, thanks in large part to our great friends over at Crew Subaru, who is our title sponsor, that we can pull this off and it will be very successful. Given it's our 10th year, we decided to do 10 days of expo. So it will be 10 days of expo starting on September the 21st, and we will roll through the end of the month in September. It's going to be great. So please check out that pivot tomorrow or visit our website, mountpleasantchamber.org. All the information you ever would need about the expo and how you can be involved with a virtual booth and an opportunity to take advantage of a large marketing campaign we are putting behind it. And then obviously the 10 days of expo coming up in late September. So lots of great things on the horizon, despite the fact that we are still in the COVID situation. We're doing everything we can as your chamber to provide you with as much valuable content as humanly possible. And Monday with the Mayor is a big part of that. And again, I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for taking your time to be here today, and also to you, Lauren, taking your time to be here as well. And as I always like to say, be safe, stay healthy, and keep moving forward. And we'll see you back here next week. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.